Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, I have an exciting topic today. I'm going to show you how to create, let's say, like a Van Gogh effect or like a painting effect. And on Skylum, the marketplace, we have this really cool, let me share it with you. We have this really cool pack, and it's called the Van Gogh Pack, all right? Or the template pack. So I'm going to come over to templates, and I'll show you. It's right here. The Van Gogh Artistic Collection. So I saw this and I thought, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I like how they created a template, and really this top section here is replacing a sky. So you have to have a sky in your image in order for this to work. Here it is before and after. So here's the original, and this is what we're going to convert it to. So it was a simple one click, and I'll show you this in a moment. But I wanted to add a texture to the bottom of it. So you have two options here. Let's come over to edit. What we can do is either create it to where, I'll get rid of that there, to where it's just being added to an actual photograph, which you have here. So the top half looks artistic and the bottom half is still a photograph. So that's one option you can do. Or the other option is what you just saw me do here, is we add texture to the bottom half of the scene, and it kind of ties it all in as a painting. The choice is entirely up to you. This isn't for everyone. People who look at this may say, oh, that's not photography. That's fine. If you want to get creative, let me show you how to do this, all right? So let's come over here to the history tool, and I'm going to start at the very, very bottom. So here we are with the original image. Now we'll come over to templates. And now, if you don't have the Van Gogh Artistic Collection, you can substitute this with any piece of art that you want to make the background look the way it is. So I'm just using this because I don't feel like reinventing the wheel, all right? Look how cool that is. So that came in, and that looked really cool. So I have it set. However, let's do a little enhancement to the image to bring out that tree, let's say. So I'm going to come over here, and we'll go to Enhance AI, and let's bump up the Accent AI just a bit. The shadows look like it needs more play in here. So I'm going to come down here to the Super Contrast tool, down to Shadows. Now this is going to be global, so when I change it, notice all the shadows are being affected. Well, I just want just that tree. So I'm going to dial it in. That looks good. And the midtones. And last, we do the highlights. Oh, I like that right about. All right, so there. So that looks good. So here it is before and after. So without super contrast, this sort of looks like. With it, you saw it brought out the tree a little bit more. All right, so we could stop here, and what? Within 30 seconds, you took an image, let's say it's a nice image, and you gave it a little character, all right? Now, if we want to take it a step further, this is where the textures come in. So I'm going to click on the local masking, add texture. And then from here, I'm going to load the texture. Now, if you heard me say this a million times, we organize our assets. Under my photography, underscore photography, is where I have all my images. I created an underscore assets folder. In there is where I keep textures, new templates, skies, whatever. If you're working with Photoshop and Lightroom, here is where I would put brushes, Adobe Camera Raw. Bottom line, that underscore assets, which is inside my pictures folder, stores all the tools I need. So let's click on textures. And I'm going to jump right over here to painting. Now, I downloaded this years ago, and I for this particular texture, I downloaded it and added 3 other textures to this to create this, all right? So I have this here. I'm going to click on Advanced, and what I just did was I moved the opacity to 100 because now I'm dealing with just a texture, all right? Where the magic kicks in is the blend modes. So the blend modes is what's going to dial that texture into the bottom layer. But for now, let's leave it at normal because I want to see the texture itself. Maybe I don't want the texture to go vertical. So what I may do is click place, rotate it. Good. Excuse me. So now that I have the texture set, what I can do is bring it over into place. And what I want to do is get it right to the corner like this. That looks good. Now, if I drag it from the sides here, I'm just going to stretch it, and it's not going to look as good as I want. So I'm going to leave it right where it was. So instead, I'll continue to make it proportional. And again, by making it proportional, I'm just dragging the corners. Now, because it's so large, I have to play a little game of, drag and replace, or drag and shift. And do one more. That should be it. Okay, that's good. All right, now I know I'm going to apply this just to the bottom half of the image, so I can position it anywhere I want, and I like it right about here, and lock it into place. Now at this point, I can lower it, or the best part is to use the layer blend modes. You're going to find that soft light and hard light usually works the best for this. I'm going to go with hard light for now, and all I'm really looking at is the ground and this area here. I'm going to dial it back a bit to where it blends in better. Oh, I like that. Maybe add a little more contrast, darken it a bit. There we go. All right, so I like it where it's at, but I don't want it up here. So I have a choice. I can either paint or I can erase. In this case, I want to paint at 100%, just the bottom half here. So I'm going to come in and bring it in. And it doesn't have to be a perfect brush. I just want to get the bottom half painted. Good. And if I go over, which I did a little bit, I'll use keyboard shortcut X, and that's going to switch it from paintbrush to erase. And you'll notice it's now I have a minus, and I'll just come up in here and get rid of it. There we are. All right, so I have that set. Now what I'm going to do is add another texture. This will help fill in some of the gaps here. Oh, I like that. I'm going to load a texture, and let's see. Oh, okay, this one here. I think these were ones I bought years ago. Let's see what it looks like. And once again, I like to take it to 100%. Okay, I can see where this is going to lead us. Let's bring up the contrast a little bit. I could desaturate it just a touch. All right, now let's do the layer blend mode. All right, hard light still looks like it's going to give me a little bit better look on the bottom half of the image. Let's dial it back a little. No. Let's see. Here, and again, I can click on place. Move it around a bit. All right, there we go. Now, instead of having to repaint what we just did, let's come back to the original one. And what I want to do is click copy under the mask. So I'm going to copy the mask. Now when I click on texture again, I'll click on the elliptic tool here, paste, and now what that just did was it took the mask that I had earlier and it applied it to this image. Now I want to continue with my erase, and let's just erase this area here. There we go. So I only want it on the bottom half, all right? Now I'm looking down here, that little piece right here is bothering me. You know, I could come back in, throw another little mask on there and change it up, or we could go back to the original mask. Actually, I like it now because it gave it time to regenerate. All right, so this looks good, but now let's make the tree a little more, let's get more attention to the tree, and that's where we're gonna grab the vignette. I'll choose the subject, which is the tree. Dial in the vignette just a little bit, the size, but this is what's gonna do the most for us, is that inner light. And I wanna feather the daylights out of this. There we go. All right, so let's see how this is shaping up. So without the vignette and with it, let me choose subject. Yep, there we go. Ready? So without the vignette, and now with, so you see how it kind of brought the attention back to the tree. Now, down in here, like I said, you can play with different textures. Like this right here is kind of bothering me. So I could, once I have it all set like this, let me get out of the way, I can actually just copy some of this section here with a clone and stamp tool, bring it here, or I can just go right back to the original texture. Yeah, see that? So I can go back to the original texture here, which was this one, and I can change it up, maybe erase some of this. It's entirely up to you, but this gives you an idea on how you could take, you know, something so simple, you know, as this shot right here with the tree, and then just play with it for a little piece, a little artwork here. All right, let's check in on some of the. Let me bring this up real quick. Some of the questions. All right, so here are the questions. Hello, everyone. Glad you could join us. Bonjour. Let's see. Raining in Orlando. Yes, it's about to rain here in Melbourne, Florida. Does. No, Gordon. This does not conflict with the copyright laws. To the best. Okay. Again, here's what we've always joked about. If my tooth hurts, I don't go to a photographer and say, "Hey, my tooth hurts. What should I do?" You go to a dentist. When we deal with copyright laws, same thing. We should be going to a lawyer and ask. In this case here, no, that's not going to have any problems because of the way we have it set in the marketplace. So you're safe here. But if you are, I'm sorry. What I mean is if you were. Oh, got you. Yeah, so you could use it in the print. Thank you, Gordon. So let me pull that back up. So Gordon asked, what he meant was, what if you were to use this template in a print? All right. Well, if that's the case, check with the rules, because a lot of times, if you were doing this for your club, they may not let you use a replacement of a sky. Now, if you want to print this yourself, then it's not a problem. Because again, it's you're the artist doing the work. And yes, this right here looks like a Van Gogh. Obviously, it's not the original. So in this case here, you shouldn't have any problems whatsoever getting it printed. All right, let's continue to check. Our good friend Kevin LaRue. Fidelity, do you use a Wacom pen to get such smooth brush strokes? Gary. All right, so I'm fortunate that I'm using right now. Can you see part of this here? I wish I had a second camera to show you. What I'm using right now is a Microsoft Surface Studio. So it's a huge, you can see the size of it. So it's a huge monitor with the computer built right in. It's all touchscreen activated, and of course, I have my stylus. And I got to be honest, I do have a couple Waccoms that I don't use anymore. Since I've been using Luminar, I don't need to do that much masking. So in the past, I would use it, whenever I opened an image, boom, I always use the tablet or the pen, because I had to do a lot of masking, especially as a portrait photographer, smoothing out the skin. With Luminar AI, and again, I'm not just doing this as a selling point, I rarely have to create masks. So when I start to get creative like this is when it's great to have a tablet, because I can just quickly whip through and mask the areas I want, all right? And yes, Gary, yes, feathering the daylights out of it is a new technical term. Is a new technical term. So we have that there, all right? Well, that's awesome, and I want to share one more thing with everyone. You asked for it. Here we are. Deep Dive 2 is coming tomorrow, June 24th. All right? So there will not be a coffee break tomorrow. June 24th. What is it? We are going to have something like 15 hours of education on Luminar. It's a deep dive starting at 8 o'clock all the way through till like 9 o'clock at night. So if you go to, let me pull this up here for you. It's skylum.com/deep dive. Skylum.com/deep dive. And you can look, 8 o'clock, we have Rich Harrington and myself. And then we have astrophotography with Jack. Our good friend Jim Nix is coming on at 9:30 with travel photography. 10 o'clock, I'm back with Miles Witt-Boyer, and we'll be talking about wedding photography. And then Eugene will be coming in. This, at 10:30, you're going to want to see this. You'll actually love this. He's going to talk about, as a product manager, how they actually come up with new ideas to put into Luminar, and you guys are the reason that the product managers put new stuff in it based on your comments. So, and he's going to give us a nice little survey for everyone to fill out. We have our buddy Gary McIntyre doing landscapes, Elia Lacardi doing landscapes at 11:30, and yes, all of this will be on Eastern Standard Time. And Ann Strickland, we have a lot of landscapes coming in here. 12:30 on the street photography. David Johnson back to landscape. Tim Engel, I'm excited about this one. Tim will be talking about commercial and fashion photography. Nicole Young will come in with landscape, travel, and food. Perfect, just after lunchtime. And then Ev will come in with cityscapes and landscapes. Harrington will come in and show how to use it, how to use Luminar as a standalone program and as a plugin for Lightroom and Photoshop. And then we have Elia coming back again. Darlene will be doing travel and street photography. Michael Gilbert will be doing fine art and portrait. Jeremy Chan will be doing portrait photography. Juliana will come in with landscapes, and she is our product marketing lead growth manager at Skylum. So she's going to give us great insights on the things she's doing to help share Luminar AI with everyone, and how we're growing Luminar AI and how she personally uses it in her workflow. Matthew's doing travel. Wow, look at this. Lori and Shelly are doing infrared photography. Michelle Grenier doing sports photography. Marvin's doing black and white landscape. And then, towards the end of the night, you have Angela and myself, along with Harrington, will jump in. Ask me anything. Now, you could ask us almost anything. Anything pertaining to photography or to Luminar AI, or even Aurora. Ask us anything on those questions, because I know how some of you get. And yes, it is going to be recorded like last time, and this is daylight savings. Yes, daylight time, daylight savings. So yes, so like right now it's, well, it doesn't matter. It's 5:20 East Coast time. So just mark your calendar and your times. So you don't have to be there the entire time, but what's really cool is all of this, like I said, is posted. So now you can actually look and see which ones you have time to attend. All right. Well, that's great, and we can't wait to see you guys. All right. Well, hey, I'm Vanelli, and I'll see you at the next coffee break.